We'll be getting started shortly.
Hi, this is Linda Jamota, United Way of Ocean County joining.
Hi, Linda. Glad you could join us. We'll be getting started shortly.
Okay.
We'll be getting started in just a minute.
Okay.
The conference has been muted.
Good afternoon. This is Nina Stack, President of the Council of New Jersey Grantmakers. I'm very pleased that you're able to join us for what is our third call following Hurricane Sandy for funders interested in working in New Jersey and investing in New Jersey, trying to get up to speed. I've fixed our technology so that we shouldn't continue to hear beeps as people join us, but I am going to go ahead and get started. As we have done with our previous two calls, we are recording this one. It will be available on our website for people to listen to afterwards, and you can let your colleagues know that it's also available. I want to bring you up to speed on some of the work that the Council's been doing and some other news. And then I'm very pleased that we will be hearing shortly from Cathy McCann from New Jersey VOAD. But first, I want to let you know that through a greatly appreciated small grant from the Victoria Foundation, we have been able to enlist the help of Elizabeth Murphy, a consultant here in New Jersey, who lives in Belmar actually, and will be helping us for the next 6 to 8 weeks in coordinating some of our activity here at the Council in service to the funding community, helping you to stay up to speed in our work with convening and serving as an information clearinghouse. You may be hearing from Elizabeth. You will probably be getting emails from her. She is someone that you can reach out to if you've got questions and queries, in addition to me, and of course always Teresa as well. But Elizabeth will be the point person now for the next few weeks with regard to our Sandy recovery information sharing. Her email is very simple. It's Elizabeth Murphy at cnjg.org. If you'd like to be added to the listserv or anything else along those lines, please feel free to reach out to her. I also want to mention with our listserv, we now have over 60, and it may even be close to 70 funders who are on the listserv. We want to encourage you all to use it. This is a great resource. As you saw today, we had some great back and forth. I had been getting questions in about work that are anchor institutions in Hoboken and Hudson County, and it was great to get the feedback that we had on the listserv today. I want to just remind you also that when you reply to a message that's come through the listserv, it is going to go to everyone. If your intention is to just reply to me or to Elizabeth or to the person who sent the original message, you need to send a different email. You can't hit reply to them. You need to create a new email to just their email address. That's how listservs work. If you have confidential questions or comments or replies, do not hesitate to send them on to me, and I'm happy to facilitate those, again, confidentially. We do this all the time with our listservs for our members. So we're happy to do that. You just need to let me know, and you can send those on to me directly at my email, ninastack@cnjg.org. Our calls are intended for funders only, though the phone number gets distributed widely, and so there may be some others who have dialed in. I just wanted to remind folks who have dialed in that are not funders. I have muted all the lines now. To unmute when the time comes for questions, or if you've got comments and want to speak up, you hit *7 to unmute the line. We ask then that you would go back and remute your line, particularly if you are traveling, and if you can't mute your line from your phone. If you don't have a mute button on your phone, then you can hit *6, and that will mute it through our Ready Talk conference line. I also want to let you know about some of the other work that the Council's been doing. We have a meeting tomorrow, actually, that we've convened for some of the leaders of organizations that have created funds in response to Hurricane Sandy, so that we can help them understand what each other's doing, how they're operating, where there might be some points of collaboration or cooperation among those various funds that are re-granting. We're not working with or convening folks, nonprofit service providers who have created funds, but rather these are organizations that have created funds where the money will be re-granted to others. We have a conference call scheduled for Tuesday, December 11th for the corporate grant makers who have some unique issues that they are working through within their organizations. We felt it would be a good opportunity to help bring together some of our corporate members who would like to share questions, queries, also hear from others about strategies that they're using, how they are working through everything from volunteer work and employee engagement, employee matching, responding to employee needs during this time, as well as some of the bigger strategy questions for short-term, intermediate, and long-term work that way. Next week, we will have another call at 4 o'clock on Monday afternoon, and our guest will be John Davies, who's the president of the Baton Rouge, Louisiana Community Foundation, which was deeply, deeply involved in all of the Katrina recovery work that philanthropy was engaged in following Hurricane Katrina. We're really, really pleased, and I want to thank Hans Decker for helping us get to John Davies. I think he'll have a great deal of information that will be helpful and insightful for folks to hear. And in the coming weeks, there'll be other folks that we want to help bring to you. If you know of people that you think would be valuable for the group to hear from in their work, please forward those on to me or to Elizabeth. We'd be happy to hear. Today, I'm very pleased that I'm thrilled that we could have Cathy McCann, who is right smack in the center of this now. Cathy is the president of New Jersey VOAD, which we've heard about, and we heard about last week as well as the week before, both from the folks at FEMA and Gerald Stribling, who was with us last week, about how critically important the VOAD organizations are. VOAD is Voluntary Organizations Active in Disasters. I'm going to ask Cathy if you would hit *7 and unmute your line now. We've asked Cathy to talk a little bit about the role of the VOAD groups, what work is getting underway, and how philanthropy can get involved and engaged. I know that there are daily calls that the VOAD groups have. Teresa Jacks on our team has participated in some of these and has been listening in on some, and so we look forward to hearing more. Cathy, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, just briefly, the New Jersey VOAD is a national organization too, and it's just a group of voluntary agencies that kind of coordinate and cooperate together, so that we are not duplicating services when we're out there doing things. So that, just an example, the Red Cross might be setting up a shelter and that the Salvation Army doesn't set one up across the street from it. So really it's all about not duplicating services and making sure that we're coordinating and that the needs are being met. That's currently what we're trying to do. Since the Wednesday before the storm, we've been on coordination calls. We meet usually once a quarter, either in person or by conference call. If we know a storm is coming or something's happening, we get on before the storm. We also work with the Department of Human Services, and we also work with state Office of Emergency Management. So we coordinate with them, too, so none of us are working in a silo. And we try to, again, just coordinate and communicate together so that the needs are being met. Many nonprofits have things that we can offer to the state, or that maybe the state can offer to the nonprofits as we go around, whether it's sometimes an escort to get into an area where we need to help feed people or whatever. That's in the immediate need. Most of you know about the Salvation Army and the Red Cross. They're out there in the front, but there's many, many organizations that participate as VOAD members that are quietly there cleaning up. We have several groups from outside of the state, as well as local groups here, faith-based groups, or other groups that are in the state here helping people clean up, muck out basements, tear down walls, or do whatever. And they do this as a volunteer. Many of them give up a week of a vacation or something and come into the state and bring all the tools and all the equipment that they need to do this work. They're usually self-sufficient. They stay in church basements or in camps or wherever they can. They come in and they just do whatever they can. And we try to coordinate that, too, so that if people are coming in from outside the state, that they're all not going to the same area. And that the areas that maybe don't get as much press also do get some attention. So most of our voluntary organizations and our local churches and organizations are on the ground, so they know how their areas are affected. So once the immediate need or emergency needs are over, which we think in most communities we have passed that, we're now starting to move into recovery, and that is where the cleanup is happening. And once the cleanup is done, we'll start the rebuild and the long-term recovery. FEMA is in the area, of course. FEMA is also one of our partners. We participate with what they call FEMA VALs, which are voluntary agency liaisons. There's about 10 of them in the state right now in New Jersey that are working with us on a daily basis. They're on our calls. We also have a seat in what they call the Joint Field Office of New Jersey, so that any kind of things that come up that need to be recognized by voluntary agencies or that voluntary agency may be able to do. There's many things that government sometimes can't do that a voluntary agency can. So we, again, just try to be all at the same table and try to figure out what we can do best. So the next part would be the long-term recovery. Once FEMA comes in, if FEMA's in now, of course, and people are registering, people are getting their grants if they're able to get a grant. Insurance takes place first, then it's the FEMA money, and then whatever's left is what the voluntary agencies try to help meet their immediate needs. And again, we don't try to put them back to exactly where they are. We just try to get them to a livable situation. And so that's where the faith-based groups mostly come together, and long-term recovery groups are starting. Many counties already have them. Bergen County already has one started. They're standing up their long-term recovery group. Somerset has one, although they were not as affected. Monmouth County, we don't have a VOAD or a COAD, Community Organizations Active in Disaster. We don't have one in every county. Some counties, when nothing happens in a state, people don't see the need to have them come together. It's mostly the counties where we've been affected by disasters previously that we have really strong county COADs. And so all disasters start local and end local. So when everybody else goes home, the local community helps to stand up. And so those local communities are going to meet the unmet needs of each. So we'll have caseworkers in here, sometimes volunteer caseworkers. Sometimes they're from organizations like Catholic Charities or Salvation Army, and they will present a case to a group. And maybe, just for example, in an unmet needs table, not one organization can solve everybody's problem. So somebody may present a case that said this person needs a furnace and they need a washer and a dryer, and they have somebody, children or something. So maybe one organization will pay for the washer, one will pay for the dryer, somebody else will pay for the furnace. So it's a matter of pooling our money together and trying to meet the needs so that, again, we're not duplicating anything. And so nobody's hopefully doing without.
Cathy, can I ask you to stop for just 1 minute? And just because the Long-Term Recovery Committee and the Individual Unmet Needs Committees, those are two different committees.
No, the unmet is part of the long-term recovery.
Okay.
It's kind of a subgroup of the long-term recovery.
Okay.
The long-term recovery looks at, I apologize, and if I'm using words that you don't understand, please stop me. The long-term recovery is a group that works together, and there's groups that try to raise the money. There's other groups that try to get publicity out that there's still a need. There's other groups and then there's the Unmet Needs Committee.
So they're different. So there's subcommittees within a county long-term recovery committee.
Group.
There'll be subgroups that are working on different aspects of it.
Correct.
Great. And right now there are committees. There are VOADs in all the affected counties, or no?
No, there's not. There's not one in Ocean County. We're going to try to pull some people in the community together. Sometimes, like during Irene, Morris County did not have a VOAD or a COAD, a county COAD, but they have formed a long-term recovery committee. So that long-term recovery committee hopefully will morph into a VOAD. Usually it happens the other way, but sometimes, people are brought together in disaster, and then they figure, we need to do this. We need to talk together. So,
what about Atlantic or Cape May? Are the VOADs there?
There is a tri-county COAD with Cape May, Atlantic, Cape May, and Cumberland County. That is together, and they're not the strongest, but we're going to be working with them to try to, and that's where the FEMA valves come in and help. And we have a Church World Service, which is a group of all different faith-based groups that comes in, and their specialty is long-term recovery groups, and they will come in and help them to really do some training. Some people there in the community know how to have been part of it, but there's a lot of new people in the community, so we'll do some long-term recovery committee training for them.
So one of the key things I think for our members is to know who to be suggesting that we understand in terms of making recommendations for the long-term recovery committees. Many of the funders on the phone know people to be suggested for those committees, and they themselves may be appropriate for the committees. So if in follow-up we can work with you to get contact information for who they should be in touch with, that would be really helpful.
I can give you each county that's starting them up as they start them up. And most of them are already having either weekly, there is still a daily call for the state VOAD, because we're at that point, but eventually it worked out that the counties will each have their own call, either weekly or every other day or sometimes daily, depending on what their needs are. So you'd be welcome to join any of those counties if people are interested in different counties. You'd certainly be welcome to be part of it. We feel the more people, VOAD, it's not just the voluntary agencies, it's whoever wants to really join the group that has something a resource to offer can come to our table. So. Great.
I stopped you while you were going through you were talking through about some of the other work that's underway.
Well, certainly the cleanup is going on. The Unmet Needs Committee that won't start for a while because people are still in the emergency states, and housing is a big issue right now. And many of us in VOAD there's a state housing because housing was a shortage before this event, and now it's even exacerbated. So many of the VOAD agencies are taking part in the housing and trying to figure out how we're going to get housing for all the people that are displaced right now. We actually have Irene last year did not get as much attention as this. So we still have 200 and 300 people that are still without homes, have not moved back into their homes from Irene. In different areas and different communities. And so those unmet needs committees really didn't have the resources that maybe this disaster will. So it's a hard thing. So it goes on for a long time. It could last for years, long-term recoveries. So people go back to where they need to be.
One of the things that we're hearing are that folks are requesting is to understand who are some of those anchor institutions that are on the ground working in different communities. It can be a little spotty on the New Jersey the 211 line. Some of the United Ways are very much on top of this. Others may not be. As you know, they've got the partners that they've worked with, but they may not be the folks that are really the anchors that are providing that. Is there a way through the VOADs to be able to tap into who are some of the strongest anchors that are based in, that aren't the nationals, that aren't the Red Cross or Salvation Army, that are in the communities?
Right. I think I shared with you my New Jersey VOAD contact list.
Yes.
And so the ones on the for the state are pretty much most of them are statewide, or at least represent the state. Then there's the counties, and those county leads are the people who are really on the ground there and work with their counties. I don't have all the people in their counties list. They each have county lists that they that change on a regular basis. So each county VOAD is part of the state VOAD, and so then the county houses whoever they have as members. Many of the United Ways have stepped up and been leads, and in some cases it's not. In Bergen County, it's a volunteer center. Janet Sharma has been the lead there for many years, and she does a great job. And they work with the United Way. Jewish Family Services is another big group in there. So every county is different. As those of you who are from New Jersey know that there's 21 counties and there's 21 different ways of doing things. So there are organizations that are stronger in some areas than other areas.
Good. Thank you. So I'd like to open up, if this seems like a good point for you, Cathy, we'll open up the line for questions from people. You can unmute your phone by pressing *7. Do we have any questions for Cathy at this time?
Cathy?
Yes.
This is Linda Jamodi with United Way of Ocean County.
Right.
We are one of the counties struggling because we did not have, I believe, a VOAD formed.
That's correct.
Are there some contact? Well, I'm guessing that I would reach out to you for some additional conversation about that in terms of what we can do at this point to put together what we're going to need moving forward. But do you have a key person that you've been working with Ocean?
My full-time job is the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, so I've been working with the Food Bank of Monmouth and Ocean.
Okay.
Carlos Rodriguez, who is there, he would be a great person to have on here. He's very committed. He's really come along a long way. He's a director down there, but he has come a long way. He originally came from New York City Food Bank, so he has a real understanding. I think you have your Red Cross and your Salvation Army, which are strong partners if you can get them in. If you have a voluntary agent liaison or a voluntary center down there, those are some key. If you look at my list, and feel free to share that list with anybody, we'll
go ahead and get that out. I think we sent it once, but we'll go ahead and send that out again.
Right. So you may want to invite those groups that are part of it. Your faith-based. I know the Episcopal Church is very active down there. Carmen Viola is on our state list, but he's been working with a bunch of churches down there, and they're very committed, and they want to help. He was looking for a point of contact to see if he could get me somebody that we could come and meet with and help through this process to get a county COAD started. So if that helps, certainly reach out to me, and we'll do whatever we can to get you help get started.
Thank you. I mean, we would absolutely be willing to take a stronger role in that. We don't have a volunteer center either. We have pieces of people who do a number of different things, but it really is that coordination piece that's important. Thank you. I will reach out.
Great. Tara Mafia from Monmouth has just been doing a stellar job there in Monmouth, so she would be a great person to even. And we could bring some people in from Somerset County who are not as affected, who would help too and give you all the things that you need, the paperwork and all that. They're very willing to share all the paperwork that they've developed for a long-term recovery group and for the unmet needs table, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
So I guess I want to make another pitch that it's getting on the long-term recovery committee is a critical position, and so for the philanthropic community who has such deep roots in different communities with strong nonprofit leaders as well as themselves, it's an important spot for them to be in. Are there other questions for Cathy?
Hi, this is Melissa Litwin. I'm with the Henry and Marilyn Taub Foundation. I've been working with a nonprofit in the Lakewood area on an unrelated grant, literally as Sandy was crashing around our ears. And, of course, she reached out to me about emergency funding. And I think this is an organization we would not fund, but I would like to go back to them with some good advice about what a nonprofit in Ocean County can do to link in with this structure.
Again, it's not a closed at all. You just have to kind of reach out. I think most COADs are welcoming anybody to the table. When we first started, there was 5 or 6 of us in the state. We now can get 30 to 40 people at our meetings on a regular basis. And when we have a disaster, we could have sometimes there's 60, 70 people on the call, and many of them are state, because it's the nonprofits that talk together, and we don't work in silos in disasters, and it's the state people who come to us because they get more information on the VOAD calls because we're on the ground, I think, more in touch with the communities than some of the state people are. Not that they're great partners, certainly. They've really recognized VOADs in the last couple of years from when they did. But I would say any organization can be part of a COAD, and they just need to reach out and be part of that group. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you.
Other questions for Cathy?
Nina?
Yes.
Hi, Cathy Duranzi at Ocean First.
Great.
To that last question, I just wanted to tell or share with Melissa that today, this morning, was the first meeting of the Ocean County Long-Term Recovery Committee. We had about 200 people that came out for that, so it was a great, strong showing from a really diverse mix of nonprofits, local government, faith-based organizations, interested community volunteers. So, Melissa, if you email me or reach out to me through Ocean First, I can share with you the contact person that's kind of spearheading and moving that committee forward so that you can link in any organizations that you know, or for that matter, anybody, if there's any organizations in Ocean County with that effort.
That's great. Can I ask, did you have a FEMA representative there with you?
Yes, we did have a FEMA representative.
Great,
and,
great.
They gave a nice presentation, and they're going to be kind of walking side by side and helping the whole committee to move forward and take the next steps.
That's great. And the state OEM would be there, too, if you ask them. Joe Galetta has been our contact, and he's been attending many of the county meetings, too. So.
Cathy Duranti, now you and another organization co-hosted that first meeting, didn't you?
Yeah, it came. We underwrote the cost of putting the meeting together, but it was really spearheaded by the Ocean County Department of Human Services.
Okay.
They kind of canceled the usual Human Service Advisory Council meeting, broadened the audience, and kind of opened it up to bring in new partners and anyone that was really kind of interested in that process and being a part of it. So that was, the difference between what would normally be a meeting with 30 people to a meeting with 200 people. Mm-hmm. And it was very well organized as a first step to kind of begin the conversations that need to happen about who's doing what, where are there some gaps, and then obviously the next step would be to begin looking at working on some of those central areas a little bit more clearly and with the right people around the table. But there are a lot of needs. I'm going to wear my advocacy hat for all of the nonprofits in our market. There are a lot of needs that already this morning were shared, some of those which are more immediate, and then some of those which are, down the road issues. But as they kind of come up, what I did share with them, and I would share with everybody on this call, is that you'll be hearing from me, and I hope that everyone in the philanthropy community throughout the state of New Jersey is ready to kind of listen to what some of the needs are and where I can help. I'm not the answer for everybody because we're a small foundation, so there's a whole lot of other people that we'll need to bring to the table to try to help them move some of these things forward.
Thanks, Cathy. I think you've illustrated one of the great roles that philanthropy can play by underwriting the meeting today. It just helps.
it just helps getting everybody in the same room. It was a first step, and I think everyone realizes that there's a long path ahead, but it was, 1 foot forward.
Great, thanks. Any other questions for our guest, Cathy McCann?
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here and talking a little bit about VOED, because none of us can do this alone, and I think that's the message to be left. Government can't do it. Nonprofits can't do it. And we all have to work together, and community groups. We all have to really pull together.
Thank you, Cathy. And we will come back to you and ask, and maybe in a few weeks, to give us an update on things.
Sure, anytime.
If that's okay, that's wonderful, very helpful. And you're welcome to stay if you want to stay on the call. But I'll open it up now. I know Chris Daggett wanted to say a few words, and there were some others who wanted to ask some questions. I'm also hoping that we can hear from folks to talk about some of the strategies that they're taking or things that they might be exploring. But Chris, if you're with us, did you want to?
I am with you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. So thanks, Nina, and thanks, Cathy, for that good summary. I just wanted to underscore the fact that after our conversation last week, we formally started, I think as many of you may have seen, the New Jersey Recovery Fund. Hans Decker, the Community Foundation, and I have been working together on it for a while. Dodge committed $1 million to it, and a couple other foundations have committed money. We've gotten Subaru has committed $250,000, and primarily for work in South Jersey, and the Knight Foundation has committed money to focus on local nonprofit media coverage of the storm on an ongoing basis because of the importance of information flow during the long recovery period. And then finally, the Dave Matthews Band has committed $1 million to create something called the Obama Works Fund, which will be effectively a donor-directed fund in that it will be grants made out of it will be branded by the Obama Works brand, but the decisions on where that money will be placed will be largely made by a committee of people that we put together to manage or to administer the money from the fund in the fund. The focus is going to be on nonprofit organizations over the intermediate and long term. We want to make sure that while all the attention that's being focused, and understandably so, on the immediate needs of food, clothing, and shelter are addressed, that we're paying attention to the nonprofit organizations that provide services from mental health services to planning and land use planning to arts organizations where performances have been canceled and end-of-year fundraising activities have been significantly diminished as a result of the storm. So the focus is on building back those nonprofits and enabling them to serve in the intermediate and long-term needs of the state. So we're hoping that others will take an interest in it. I know there's other funds across the state that are being set up, and we applaud that, and we want to work in complement with those funds. And we're in the conversations with a number of national national foundations as well that may be making decisions shortly to join us as well. So we're off and running. We're hoping that others will join us. And an important component of this from our standpoint is getting people to appreciate across New Jersey the value that the foundation and larger philanthropic community can bring to relief efforts and recovery efforts in the state. I think it's important that people appreciate the knowledge that we have of nonprofits and the information and help we can bring to bear. So that's where we are, Nina. I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody's got questions on it, or don't hesitate to reach out either to Hans Decker or to me. You can see on either the Dodge Foundation website or the the Community Foundation of New Jersey website information about the project and how to give and so on.
Thanks, Chris. Any questions? *7 to unmute your phone.
Hi, this is Cathy Smith from Partners for Health, and this question is for Chris. I was talking to a local executive director of the adult school, which is not funded by a local board of education or the town in any way, and they didn't cancel performances, but they lost 2 weeks of classes and had to refund all that money, and that's put them in a precarious situation. Would they be eligible to apply for a grant from that fund?
I would suspect probably not, although I would tell you that we have not put all the criteria together. We hope to have that all put together by sometime in mid-December. We want to make sure that we're targeting the money toward first the nonprofit community, as I said, as opposed to schools or other entities. But I wouldn't rule out anything at the moment, so I would have somebody just reach out to us and let us know what their needs are, and we can talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Chris?
Yes.
This is Bonnie Petrauskas. I'm with Johnson & Johnson.
Hey, Bonnie.
And I just wanted to confirm also that Johnson & Johnson is participating in that fund as well, as one of the funds that we have committed to, and primarily to look at capacity building of organizations that are delivering services to families in the affected areas. And then as our looking at that fund as a way in which to meet unmet needs within the local communities, and then working with some national organizations such as Save the Children and United Way and others, American Red Cross, to do some of the national efforts that are targeting impacted areas. So we're really looking at a multidimensional approach of not working with one agency and fund, but really looking at multiple ways that are all complementary in order to provide the support needed for nonprofits, agencies delivering services, and importantly, those families.
Yeah, and Bonnie, thank you. And I wasn't sure you had formally said yes. That's part of what I didn't mention.
Yeah.
No,
so I appreciate that. I mean, we're still working on the paperwork, but we actually
right, I know.
Working with.
I knew we were working on the paperwork. So the other point to make on all this is, to the degree that people are thinking about setting up any of their own funds of some kind, I would encourage people to consider using the community foundation in the form of almost like a donor-directed fund, where you set up whatever fund you're doing and let them help you from the administration of the back office activities and those sorts of things. It would be good, I think, two ways. If you don't have that capacity yourself, certainly Community Foundation has it. But secondly, again, I think that when we can pool some money together from a number of foundations, ultimately we have the potential for a lot greater impact. So we appreciate what you're doing, Bonnie, and I hope others will do the same.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So I'd like to open up the call. If there are other questions or strategies or suggestions that people have, you can unmute your phone at *7. I'll also just throw out there, if there are any more ideas about anchor institutions working in Hoboken, Hudson County, which went out on the listserv today, or Moonachie. It would be great to know about anchor institutions up there that are helping. But feel free to talk about anything that people need to talk about. You can unmute your phone by *7. Okay, it sounds like no one has any questions, strategy ideas, concerns.
I would just say thanks, Nina, for all your good work and the good work of your staff.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Thanks. Well, we want to I will continue to tell you, I get calls every day from funders around the country. Some of you are on the phone right now. Others can't be, and it's really heartening. And knowing that we're not alone, as I said in my blog that we sent out, it feels a lot like love. Philanthropy right now feels a lot like love of New Jersey. It's love of humankind, but also love of New Jersey, and that's really heartening. And there's a whole lot of work to be done. So please continue to give us feedback, what you need, what would be helpful to you, what you're learning. We want to be able to push that information back out and be the resource that everybody needs in their philanthropic work. So we will convene again next Monday at 4 o'clock, same telephone number. I was going to say same bat time, same bat station. And we will continue to be in touch, and please use the listserv. It's a great resource. And if you don't want to put out your question yourself, we're happy to do it for you if that's an easier way. So if there's nothing else, I'll thank again Cathy McCann for joining us. It was great to have her. And next week we'll have John Davies, and I think perhaps Denise Gilliam again from FEMA can provide us with an update as well. And for folks, if you didn't see what I just sent out earlier today, was the chart from the Star Ledger that did a town-by-town assessment based on the FEMA preliminary FEMA analysis, which I know it's very good information to have, very sobering information to have.
Nina, you said you sent that out today?
I did. It went out about a half an hour, now probably about an hour and a half ago on the Sandy listserv.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Nina, that was really helpful. Even though we sort of felt that in Ocean County, it was helpful to sort of see the numbers.
Good. Good, and we'll continue. I know Red Cross has started putting out New Jersey numbers in terms of where they're at with things. I'm going to try and get that and put that out on the listserv as well when I think they do a weekly update. That way, so. Well, while I have many of you on the phone, I'll also just put in a plug that we're looking forward to seeing many of you on December 7th for our annual meeting. I hope you'll be there. I think it's going to be a really important one and a good opportunity to connect with folks face to face. All right, then. We'll convene again next Monday. And in the meantime, have a marvelous Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Nana.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Please stand by.